classical music is my whole entire life. Since I've been growing up, I've been immersed in the classical music world, and I've really grown up a lot with classical music. So I find that it's a very important means of expression for me. It's also a great connection with the past, because you really get to connect with whatever composer you're playing at the time. So one of our biggest challenges as artists is to come up with an interpretation that really keeps in mind what the composer was thinking and feeling at the time that he wrote the piece. So for me, it's very emotional to play certain pieces because I connect a lot with them personally as well. So I think that, the classical music is just a great way to express myself and express what I'm feeling, as well as at the same time keeping in mind what the composer had in mind for the piece. I think I'm constantly changing as a musician. I think I used to be much more in tune with extroverted music. I used to like to play loud and fast, like I think a lot of young people do. And as I've grown up, I like playing more intimate music, more romantic music, more sentimental music. So I feel that you really draw off life experience as a musician. So getting older is actually a good thing in music because you really learn a lot emotionally. So I think hopefully by now I'm starting to be able to play any sort of music and feel comfortable. The first thing that comes to mind is when I got into the Curtis Institute of Music, which was a huge deal for me because I had never expected to be accepted. It's a very prestigious school and very small, and I think they accepted 6 other violinists that year. So that was a huge milestone in my career. I think maybe the second one was when I played a concert a few years ago with one of my former teachers, Ida Kavafian, as well as Leon Fleischer, who is a very famous pianist who for many years could only play with one hand because he had an injury, and now he's playing with both. He's about 82 years old or something, and he's a huge figure in classical music. So to be sitting on stage with those 2 people as well as 2 other extraordinary prestigious players was a huge deal for me. I was playing second violin, and the whole time I was thinking about how lucky I was that I was sitting there on stage. The first one that comes to mind is when I was playing a concert in high school, and it was extremely hot, and I was playing and I was sweating all over the place. And at one point I saw this commotion in the back of the hall, and it turns out that someone had passed out because they were so hot. And so I remember we still had to continue the concert, and I was staring at the back of the hall trying to keep my concentration, but also just, incredibly distracted by what was going on. And the person was fine, they were just dehydrated, but that's the first thing that comes to mind. Many strange and memorable things happened during concerts, so that was one of them. I really, I love being home, I have to say. I travel a lot, so one of the things I do to relax is to stay at home, and I like to cook. I really enjoy having a lot of friends over, so when I'm in New York, I try to gather as many friends as possible, and I have another friend that cooks and one that bakes, and so I put them to work in my kitchen, and I host, and we have a big party. Not a loud and rowdy party, more like a dinner party. So I like doing that. I like exploring the city. New York is such a big city that you could never finish seeing the entire place. So I enjoy walking around. I enjoy walking in Central Park. I live 2 blocks away. So, and I also enjoy reading and being on the internet and anything else like someone my age. Well, this summer I'm doing a lot of chamber music. I'm going to festivals in Texas and Seattle and Virginia. So I'll be playing about 25 or 30 different pieces in the next month and a half. And then I'm probably going to a competition in Romania, I think in September. And then next season I have some new pieces I'm playing. I'm going to be learning the Kabalevsky Concerto, and what else am I playing? Brooks Scottish Fantasy, and the Mozart Fifth Concerto, which I learned when I was very young, but have never played with orchestra. So I have lots of concerts. I try to think one concert at a time, or else it gets a little overwhelming, and I can't think that far ahead. It's too many pieces to learn before that. So thank you.